So the job status of the football head coach is always a topic of conversation in town, isn't it? Right. So I thought that Minnesota Fighting Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer had done enough to likely save his job for next year. I mean, that 5-1 run, yes, 1-5 start, but injuries, youth all over the place, Rona, all of that stuff. Just chalk it up as a mulligan. Start next year, at least moderate temperature seat, maybe not hot seat, but I'll also throw in the fact that he signed a 3-year high-end extension, which it would have to be paid out. Also his staff. So there's lots of reasons why Zimmer could potentially keep his job. But then that Christmas Day game happened. Now I know recency bias. You have to try and take that out when you're trying to make objective decisions, but it's really hard to. I mean, we're humans, and we are prisoners of the moment at times, and that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, man. The most yards allowed in franchise history, a team that started in 1961, 6 rushing touchdowns to Kamara, which is the most since 1929. So before the Great Depression, they're like, hey, no one's ever done this before. And then no one will ever do it again until 2020. Dun, 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 dun. People doing the Charleston, get out of here. And also 52 points is the most allowed by this defense since 1963. So it's you have to dig down really deep and work really hard to break records that were set in the 60s and 20s. Like, my God. And yes, injuries. I don't care. We're talking about pride. We're talking about doing your job, which the defense clearly did not. And the defense is your fault. It's on you, man. Just getting embarrassed like that. Standalone, national TV holiday game. Whew. Right. So how's the defense so bad? You literally have 3 defensive coordinators. How? Right? So, of course, other concerns. Has he progressed as a head coach, or has he plateaued? Can he win the big game? Can he consistently beat good teams? These are all valid questions. Will he open up his offensive philosophy now that you have Justin friggin' Jefferson, who's going to quickly become the best wide receiver in the National Football League? These are all concerns about his teams, not making it to the playoffs in back-to-back years as well. So, consistency. Can he do that? Can he continually grow as a head coach? I wonder about his clock management. So that clown shoes letting 20 seconds tick off and then taking a timeout, your last one, to save 2 seconds. I mean, have a plan. Have a better plan for situational football. My God. So that has not improved at all. 1 iota in 7 years. And yes, 2020 has been super tough with injuries and all that stuff and yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, there was times, even when this team was relatively healthy, where they got straight up embarrassed. So week 1 against Green Bay, gave up 500 plus yards. Week 2 against the Colts, absolute dismal showing. Against the Falcons at home, embarrassing. Against the Cowboys in your hometown, up against a team that was in the running to be a top 5 pick, and has shown it is absolute garbage. Are you kidding me? Right when you got the season turned around, you just won 3 straight division games, and then thwack. And then that, huh? Also, week 16 against the Saints. I mean, it's rough. It's rough. And also, speaking of Zimmer's game management, against Seattle, against Tennessee, extremely suspect. Going for 2 when you don't have to. And then the Saints game, when it's clear that you should go for 2, you don't go for 2. I actually think that he's just trolling us at this point. So, the question is, what do the Vikings do? It's tough because of all the reasons we listed. He has resurrected this franchise to a degree. It was a rebuilding year. Yes, tons of injuries. Yes, big-time contract. That does factor in as well. But I think they would only do it if they had a short list of candidates, maybe even just 1 or 2, that they made sure that they were in on. So I don't think they would fire Zimmer just to fire him and then open up a coaching search. I think if the Wilfs did move on from Zimmer, I think it would have to be a spot where, some back channels being worked, agents and whatnot, to know that they would have their guy, one of the high-end coaching candidates for this year's cycle. So maybe Eric Bieniemy, maybe Robert Saleh, maybe Arthur Smith, maybe Fitzgerald from Northwestern, right? So it would have to be one of those situations. But I don't know if they'll have that. I don't know. Also, if they fire Zimmer, they might have to fire Rick Spielman too. Because not only would you need, in that situation, not only would you need a new head coach, but then you're in the search for a new GM as well, and you're already behind. So, and Rick Spielman has already selected 2 head coaches, Leslie and Zimmer. GMs generally don't get a third. And also, if he did fire Zimmer, even though Spielman got himself a matching 3-year extension, he would be on thin ice. So any head coach that's worth his salt maybe wouldn't select the Vikings because they know that Rick Spielman is on thin ice himself. So, I mean, it's going down a whole rabbit hole. I think as of right now, the contracts will keep them safe. I think those 3-year extensions for Spielman and Zimmer in the offseason were a mistake. I think it was better to let him play it out this year. Maybe you attach a 1-year Band-Aid just like you did with Zimmer last offseason. So, I don't know. Well, also the extension of Cousins, maybe it was a mistake. Probably was. I don't know. But I think fans overall are split on Zimmer. I think a lot more of the fans than you would know are willing to give him another shot. You know, chalk it up to injuries. This one is a mulligan. It's whatever. I mean, some have always wanted him fired. And I can see it. Like, big picture, like, do you see Mike Zimmer as a Super Bowl winning head coach? Do you see him evolving and adapting and out-coaching? I don't know. I don't really see it. I don't. But I think the Wolves will stay the course. I think financial commitments to Spielman and Cousins and Zimmer will necessitate that short term, even though long term could it be the wrong decision? Sure. So even though it's probably not 100% that his job is safe, I think it's still relatively high. Well, before the Christmas Day game, I thought it was like 95% sure that Zimmer's going to be back next year. You know, again, mainly due to his contract, mainly due to the loyalty. The Wilfs, give them credit. They hire the right people, and then they just let them work, maybe to a fault, right? But after this national TV embarrassment, could this be a 60-40 proposition? I don't know. Like, there's always one surprise firing every offseason. Could it be Zimmer this year? But I'll tell you this much. If Zimmer does come back, that seat starts at 5,000 degrees. That seat starts on damn fire. Get this thing fixed. This offense is starting to come around. Give Kubiak and company a lot of credit. And your defense has been the one failing this team all season long. I don't care about injuries. I don't care about young players. I don't care about this and that. Fix it next year or you're gone for sure. Hell, maybe you're gone this offseason as well. I don't know. But your thoughts, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.